you talk about the crisis and the women and children, and you talked about COVID, which is absolutely true. There were 108 when I was in the Rio Grande Valley sector, about 108 people in Brownsville the night I was there that tested positive for COVID, right? And that's the ones that actually showed symptoms or had to go to the hospital for like a secondary infection or something. But we're not talking about all the other infections and diseases. A lot of these children, a lot of these people have arrived here. They have multi-drug resistant tuberculosis or other ailments, which is really tragic and horrible. And sometimes they come across from, in situations, especially some of the young children, where they've either been brutalized or raped, and the cities are picking up the tab there. So it's either the federal government or the cities are picking up the tab because we've got to take them to hospitals. So this is a real strain on our economics, right? And our economics, even for our small communities. How does the Biden administration, or what are you talking about as far as like with your leadership, how are we going to rectify that economically when we're in such dire straits right now in the United States?
You raise all good points. I mean, the first thing should happen if you're president of the United States, you should reverse the course. But you should sit down with members of Congress to talk about the crisis.
And he has not.
I sent him the letter asking for a meeting. No response whatsoever.
How about Alejandro Mayorkas with the DHS? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that guy?
Same thing.
No meeting.
Yeah. Why wouldn't he meet? Why wouldn't he go to the border and see it? Why wouldn't he meet with them? Or have him come to the White House? I just don't understand it.
And why isn't he not listening to his own men and women on the front lines? And I want to say this because I'm out there and I see what these men and women do every day. And it is extraordinarily frustrating and heartbreaking for them. They are the first. I want every one of our listeners out there to understand these children that come across, these family units that are coming across, the first people they're seeing is our Border Patrol agents. Yeah. Sometimes these kids are sick. Sometimes they find these children and these family members on the verge of death, and they are the first line of defense. But while they're taking care of all of these folks that are pouring in, and the drug cartels are using that.
Behind it.
Right. What have you been hearing about that?
Well, the drug cartels also run the smuggling, right? And so they move the people all in one area. So the Border Patrol all goes there. Then they come through the other area with the drugs. And the Border Patrol is stretched so thin because of their being overwhelmed by this crisis. And then with this new administration, they're hamstringing the Border Patrol for what they can do. Even the protection of being able to have the weaponry when these cartels are not friendly people. Right. They are armed like a military. And it really puts fear into me for the lives of our Border Patrol.